Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Uncommon, and joining with me as always is the glorious ShazamPoof.
Hello.
And welcome
What is
to.
what is so the reason that my welcoming was a little bit stunted is
What
I'm
is?
noticing something in the corner of the stream.
Yes,
A little
yes.
box.
It's a second box.
So
It's
I have a
additional
little
entertainment.
uncommon. I have a little uncommon in one of the boxes. I see him. And then on the other side of the screen, I see something else that I am familiar with.
Are you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And oh, except we're in the category of D&D. If let's see,
Should we
let's
be in the category
let's
of Veride? Verity?
Verity. So
Verity?
the one thing, Verity. So Verity.
Verity.
There's currently one person streaming that game. Can you
Is
take a guess who it is?
I bet it's Tech 4.
He is the most watched Verity streamer
Now
on all of
let me
Twitch.
let me tell you, I originally liked your idea because but before we get too far, welcome to Delving into episode 3. Did we say that? Did we talk about what we're going to get to eventually? All right, let's talk about this game. This is a game where you watch a plant grow in real time, not accelerated time, not Sims time, but like
Not time you can even speed up.
not time you can even speed up, real time, as if I had planted a pot and put it on my desk, and you have to water it. Apparently, every other day. Like my plants are still sated after a day. I figured once a day interaction, but maybe once every 3 days. My point is, you suggested that we stream this game 24 hours a day, and Tech Four immediately said that's a great idea. Hell yeah! And so he started doing it. And I was like, you know what? Fine. I'm not going to be left behind. So I entered the ring as the second most popular Verity streamer. Um, and then I realized my mistake is that there are two ways people come to my stream. One of which is by notifications, in which it says uncommon streaming, and people go, "Oh, cool, he's streaming," and they jump on in. The second way is when when they're following me, my name pops up on the left, and it says I'm currently streaming. Now, if for 23 hours out of the day, 20 hours out of the day, I'm streaming Verity, and every time they come to check me out, it's a fucking plant. That means that the 2 to 4 hours I might be streaming real entertaining stuff that day, they're not going to see it because they're just going to assume I'm streaming a plant. Like even if I only ever stream this at the end of my streams, I'm still decreasing the quality of my content so much that people just won't bother to show up. I mean, I could always dream that it'll become enough of a meme that it'll just explode. That's not going to happen. It's a goddamn plant. Ninja couldn't stream this without losing viewers.
Challenge accepted. I'm gonna PM Ninja. He's one of my favorite friends
Yep.
that I have that I keep.
Fine.
PM
Ninja can't
with.
PM this AFK. AFK.
Here.
Without
Let me
losing viewers.
let
Without
me
losing
go
viewers.
and type to
Oh
him.
my god.
Okay, send.
Oh my gosh. Funny enough, he's been losing viewers because he hasn't been playing Fortnite. Every time I look over, at least.
What is he playing?
Final Fantasy 11, like the old one. He's been doing that. I mean, the handful of times I've tuned in. Maybe he's been playing Fortnite every other time that I just haven't been paying attention. But regardless, hi.
We should
We have a
should
show
have
to do.
we should have Fortnite in that box.
Just Ninja Fortnite. Look, it's we're 1% Ninja.
Oh man! All right,
We had
so
an outline. We have an
we
episode.
did.
I'm going to
Yes,
copy
we
it
did.
over for episode 2 to episode 3.
Episode 2.
2? All right. I did the recap last time. Tom, it's your turn to do the recap.
I there is no video evidence of who did that.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Okay, so episode 2 started off with fierce battle between ShazamPoof and Uncommon. They were going to disagree, and it was going to be epic. They all charged up their Kamehamehas, and then instead of it being like 3 episodes later, it got all solved at the end of that episode, and essentially we came up with these 9 rough drafts of gods, and then spent pretty much the whole episode doing that. And I think that's it. I think that was the best summary out of the 2 episode summaries. That was the best one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I'm a huge fan of what you did there, just kind of embellishing on your wordplay. No, my idea's better. I'm trying to picture the Kamehamehas.
This is stupid.
Which part?
All of it.
Bread growing on trees fucking everywhere? That's stupid.
No, that was good. Where is that? Is that still... Okay, good. That's still on there? We're good. We're safe.
My favorite part... We could use one big epic tech if you could just do one long, like...
Yeah.
I'm not epic, you know, like background music when they're traveling and things are fine. Just a nice long loop.
Why not like Black Desert Online where you have Jingle Bells playing in the background, except it's Tech 4's rendition?
It is. We'll put it up. We'll give it a nice melody. And if I had to sum up,
like Goreclaw.
Goreclaw. Our jokes come from one stream to the next with different.
So
I'd say the same audience, the same audience, but different intended audiences here. So that plant stays there until we get permission to use Shazam's image and likeness. The letter's been submitted, and we're waiting for a reply. But
I have a lot of paperwork on my desk.
That's
50,000 viewers.
At 50,000 viewers, you show your face?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I hope one of us has tits, and we're ready to flash them. All right. So one of my favorite summaries about last week is that I spent the first episode and the prequels before we started recording explaining to you that we needed to not get too deep and detailed. And then at any sight of something that might seem to be detailed, you went, I don't think we should be doing that. I don't think we should be doing that. Like, then what the fuck should we be doing, Tom? And he'd be like, well, not that. Broader.
100% helpful.
You do have 100% of viewership. You missed that. You did. I would appreciate a host, actually. That'd be really cool. And I will host you. I will. You know what? I will host you and your Verity stream at the end of this. Absolutely.
Jesus.
All right. So we're.
But have you seen the work that I've done?
No.
Then if you take a trip down to the deities tab.
We're gonna get rid of deities. All right.
I forgot. I was like, that joke was so bad. I was like, oh, Casey misspelled it, and I was like, oh wait, nope.
That was a joke. We did that.
Mm-hmm.
You've been up for 27 plus hours, or the stream has. Like, what have you? If I didn't have to restart it, it would be close. Okay, the stream's been up. Well, I mean, it's 24-hour plant-based content.
Like, think about how much Twitch has to deal with all the server load.
Bandwidth from his plant.
Spinning pot.
All right, one more time since Tech's here. I'll be giving my explanation on why I'm no longer the number 2 Verity streamer. Is I was worried that if my stream was 20 hours out of the day Verity, then people would just stop showing up even during the 4 hours when I was trying to do quality content. So, you know, I got worried about the quality of my stream, so I bowed out. I'm no longer going to compete against the monster that is Tech Force stream. When you I watch him get like 80 viewers.
You had Triolo.
He's gonna get partnered.
You had Triolo.
All right, there's a. Can I click this on stream? Wait, I don't know where my browser. I don't know what window my browser window's in. All right, let's fix that.
I like how, once again, we are 10 minutes into this video. Nothing has been produced.
I text like, here's a user in the chat. Nightbot, him, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. I recognize at least 5 bots, and then me.
To me, it's
good.
No, it says to me. I just see the 2 viewers on the side of his name.
That's what it is. It's me. It's me plus one other person, and these are just bots. Like electrical longboard, electrical. I guess they changed his
Yeah.
name. Not my
Bots.
not your bots.
No,
But for some reason,
not my bots.
Twitch recognizes who the bots are and only gives us credit for 2.
Yeah.
Not my bots.
Sad panda.
Next botter. That's you. Okay. Yep. So we're
See,
gonna
I tried.
we're gonna have to add a link to the video. Like, click here to get past the bullshit.
Video editing. We don't do that.
So, walk me through Tom's deities draft because I like it. I like what I'm seeing, but
Okay.
I want to know it.
Okay, so then one of the next steps, if that we wanted to sort of touch on, was map, and so I sort of thought that was uncommon was more of Shazam, you deal with that, and then get back to me, and so that's what I did. So I did some things. My favorite ranking is just which ones I like the best, and that was just for me. So I don't forget which ones I don't like as much.
Okay.
The name placeholders are just some of the titles were a little bit long for the map, at least I thought. So I just gave them, I went to a random name generator and generated some names. And it just happened to get John and Danny for the respective ones.
I don't believe
not
you.
True.
I don't believe that was.
That's not true at all. And then I sort of did some, before I created the map, I just did some sort of thinking on, maybe what the countries would be a little bit like. And then, so if you go down to the rough draft map, you see a very basic creation of one of the maps that sort of came about. I cleared it all off and did the terrain features. I played with those a little bit. The main thing to take away from is really shape and the country layout and the size, but size minimally.
I'm in love. This is good. Where'd this come from? How'd you make this?
So this was one of the things we originally talked about, how we were going to use Civ. The reason I liked the Civ maps was to because you could get very visualized, detailed terrain. It was a pain in the butt, and I gave up. This was also a pain in the butt because it ran like shit.
Okay.
But if you switch to Google Chrome, it only runs mediocrely like shit.
But
so it was
you got the end result, it looks like.
Yes. And so this is Azgaar's with 2 A's. Well, I guess 3 if you count the one in the beginning. Fantasy map generator. And you can actually get extremely detailed with this. Like if you notice in the orange territory, you see all those mountains.
Yeah.
You can individually move and put into the background or the foreground each and every single mountain. You can also change the size of them.
I think I see. I'm doing some. I think I see names of cities in here if I get big enough.
Yes, those are all. Those are all things that are previously generated. And Casey, guess what?
What?
So I found
you have a spreadsheet.
So you can create a CSV, which for those of you who do not look at spreadsheets like other men look at porn, yep, they're comma separated values. So it's essentially the simplest form that you can get, but it allows you to visualize. So you can do a lot of things with this map and then get workable data from it.
So drop that file in here. Drop it in.
So the thing is I didn't do anything with that because just in case because there's certain things that I don't know how plausible they are, how they are going to work, and how they would affect how a DM does things.
Sure.
But here now I need to figure out how to get back to it. customize. Oh, now I don't know how. Oh my god, I've lost it forever. Um, but so like one, I don't even know if this would work. So I didn't want to like those names of cities. Like if you
I just
see
can't. I can't
questions,
see them, and I just can't zoom in far
well,
enough.
right, because this is a very very small version of the map.
How's the resolution
Um,
of this map?
this is 1280 by 720.
Okay, so the resolution gets
Ah,
farther. Yeah, see what I did? The resolution does get
right,
bigger if you want it to.
right,
But this is not a high res
right.
image, though.
Correct. No, it is not.
But you could print out a
Um,
big, super big, ultra high res version.
I think so. What you can also do is save the. You can save it, load it, and PNG it. So um, this is definitely workable.
Okay.
Um, but but I didn't want to go too far into it, start editing it too much. Because one, I'd have to learn how to edit all of it, and two, there was just a couple of questions, like as I
Okay.
can see that you see now.
Yep.
Is the like traversing the map? How big should it actually be? Is this the entire world or just the known world? Taking advantage of the features, which is kind of what I was talking about with the spreadsheets, and I'll get a little bit more into that, and just the cities, villages, etc.
No,
Because
yeah.
a lot of times, especially I'm sure anybody who's worked with a large company that uses data software, they'll pay for a huge package
Okay.
of software. They're like, "This is excellent software,"
I
and
know
then
where you're
as a
going with this.
user, you go, "Okay, this is great," and then you're talking with people, and they're like, "Okay, so I see these values here in this part. You know, well, how do we use these?" And we go, "Oh, we just don't touch that part." I'm like, "But it's there, and there's data in here. It's
Right.
probably
But
not correct."
you just use your own
Right.
processes, and then you right. Your process doesn't match the software, so you end up ignoring parts of the software.
Right.
Okay.
And so I wanted to see how much, like, because one of the biggest things is, we could get a breakdown of every single city on the map. We could also then get a breakdown of the population of all of those cities.
Right.
Would we want to use that feature? Because we can edit those populations. Right now, they're kind of set at like I want to say it's like millions, but we could set that down to like an actual reasonable number.
Okay.
And like
Thousands is probably, yeah. Go ahead.
Right. And so with that, like, would we be able to do that? Like, is that like, is that something we should be even playing around with, or is
So I am 100% behind this map, like already in love with this thing. I do think that this is the known world. Okay, so I'm gonna answer your questions. Traversing the map. This whole map is about. I measured it earlier. If you all noticed, I was zoomed in for a little bit and wasn't saying much, but I was using my measurement tools with my hands and the scale here. This is about 2,400 by 2,400. Give or take a couple hundred. 2,400 by 2,400. I'm gonna go with that's miles. That's fine. That is a perfectly okay scale in my mind. 2,400. It's a long distance on foot. That's bigger. That's not bigger than. That's about the United States. This is about the United States. That for scale. And I'm good with that. That's perfect. Known world though, because there's always the options to build onto it. Like maybe maybe this is a globe and this is only about 1/3 of the surface. I don't know. Let's leave it open. I think that major cities are absolutely something we want to define. I think a handful of minor villages are things we want to define. But the great thing about Faerun is in the text there are thousands of tiny settlements for the dungeon masters to build upon and create. I don't want to say. I personally don't want to say map out every single village and say there are no more villages if it's not on this map. Period. Deal with it. Because other people are going to want to create their own little pockets of this world. And I think that's okay. But we have this map, like you have access to change names and reprint this. Okay. So the first thing I would do is I like this. I think this is the map of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, John's not on here. That's good.
Correct. There was, and I sort of created it this way because it's easiest to get rid of it. But sort of as I was going through it and as I was doing some thinking, I wasn't sure if we wanted to leave just as John as that one entity. And the one idea I was sort of playing around was with Danny was sort of having like a desert party oasis.
Okay. How much can we tweak this map?
We
change territories.
We can. So how the map is sort of worked out is it's not necessarily hexagons, and I don't know how it's decided, but there's little tiny chunks that you can change. Okay. So it gets a little bit like I was trying to come up with like natural borders a little bit, and I think one of the obvious examples. Let me find one. Okay, so if you go between Ectoon and Aros, the light blue and the red, you can see that river that separates them and how the lines do not perfectly go.
You were trying to go along the river.
And those are sort of the chunks that I have to deal with.
Okay. I like that. I think we end up with country names. I like the representatives. I don't care right away who's in what town. I think we take a look at each of the gods. I'm gonna pull over your 3 charts here, your rankings, your placeholders, your country briefings. Pull those over so I can look at them side by side. Move your questions to tackle over here, and then just paste. Oh, awesome! Never mind. Let's move that over here. That's a good up and down. So what I like to do, because I do love this. I'm in love with this map already. I think this is essentially it.
John is in all of us.
John is in all of us, deep inside. So the first thing I want to look at is: are there any pieces of land here that are too big for that god? Is there like Danny? Danny is pleasure and recreation. Does he want to rule that big of a territory? Does he just want to take a small piece where he can be a nice tropical island with beautiful beaches and
just that island right off the southern tip?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he still wants to be connected to enough trade, so it's just a tip, right? Just a tip right there, plus the island. Things like that. Hey, the way out is through. Just resubscribed. Thank you. 5 months in a row with the Twitch Prime. Subscribing from inside of you, says John. That's awesome. So yes, no, I think and changes like that. So I want to take a look and maybe flesh out some of these personalities that go with them, so we know whether or not they want large pieces of territory, or have the potential to command it. So which direction? We start with Danny. We say Danny shrinks a bit, right?
Okay.
So we can draw on this map pretty easily.
Oh yeah, that's right.
we can say like Danny cuts off right about here. We just kind of move it, and that's just notes for later, because I assume you can go back and do whatever tweaking you want to do, and that makes sense to me. What else? Who else do we have? We got to start defining some people. Varos, where's that at?
That's the.
Oh, we didn't put any names in this.
No, but the name placeholders are right there. That's create something new. That's chaotic good.
Wait, where are the name? Oh, I see him. Chaotic good. Create something
new. And that's sort of like either I was thinking like a foresty area or some sort of like marshy sort of area, or if it's deserty, then it's flood plains with the rivers running through the south of it.
Let me grab deities. Let me grab our super notes on the gods. That's the wrong one. Episode 2, we had that huge.
Yeah, the gods notes. It's in episode 2 on the.
So I
don't want to also grab it.
No, you're fine. I'm gonna grab it so we can reference it, because that's where we put most of the personalities down. So this was the neutral good one. No, this was a create something new.
Chaotic good.
Chaotic good. All right, Chris.
Yeah. So, and if you see the name placeholders, it's neutral good, lawful good, chaotic good. That's what the 2-letter abbreviations are.
Yep, they line up pretty good. Let me zoom out and place this well. There we go. All right, so Vor Vorus. So Vorus chaotic good, create something new. This god most closely resembles the Father, great god of life, light, chaos, favor, and creation. This god spends most of their time in nature, giving life to new creatures. Cool. Can we make that part green? Can we switch the colors of Quiotes and Vorges?
Yep.
Okay.
Super easily. We can change all these colors to custom.
Okay. That just breathes life to me. It fits. I got green. Okay, I like big swaths of land. So if we oh shit, we should rotate this. Can we rotate this map counterclockwise 90 degrees? Is that a possibility?
Now you're getting into stuff I'm not sure I can do.
And it's only because I'm looking at colors. And the colors could be off by the time we're done with this. But what I'm seeing now is this like let's look at bands. So we need to worry about temperatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we need a band of cold right up here.
Mm-hmm.
We need a band of tropical down here. Maybe sweltering deserts, or maybe more tropical. I mean, it doesn't matter. We can do this how we want, but just temperate. The climates should change drastically from the top of this map to the bottom of the map, with temperate in the middle, and wherever Vorhes is, and it covers a good portion of the middle. This area here can be lush forests, jungles, but if you rotate it, and let me go ahead and cancel Control Z some of this. If you rotate it, we end up with we end up with the ice.
Mm-hmm.
We end up with maybe some desert area down here. This area becomes mountainous, volcanic. This becomes nice and tropical. With islands in the center. This center band here becomes a nice tropical area. And it just fits with the colors a little bit. That's all I'm getting at there is the colors. Mm-hmm. Who's Ekatoon? What's he do?
He's Conquest.
Oh, perfect. That red is like death and war. All right. So yeah, that's my thought so far. If we could rotate it, if you can pull off the names and the scale and rotate and put them back, we could do it artificially. Or we could just put a north-seeking arrow.
Right. I mean, the one thing is, as soon as we do anything like that, we lose all editability, unless.
You're right. We do. Maybe this is a world where the West is cold.
Could be. Or I mean, we don't. Once again, with this map, I mean, we could look for something like that. Like, this was me just hitting random until I found something with an interestingly enough
this was good. I love it. I do.
An interesting enough geological feature to make me stop, which was the land bridge between the two continents.
Right. And that is a natural divider for the countries too. I would not want to lose all editability. Unless the process from getting here to where we were was only a couple steps. And then we were just
this was me. I generated it, I cleared it, I essentially colored the countries on and named them. That's all I did.
Oh, really cool. Really love this. But let's move on with the assumption that way's north. Is that good?
Okay.
Or that way's cold.
Wait, which way's north?
The right, the west.
Okay.
I put it on the map. And the layout is through Gunfinger's John there says, is Faerun beholden to temperate climates? You could mess with that, something like A Song of Ice and Fire. You're not wrong. I know that. So Faerun is on its own, similar to our rotation. They have a yearly calendar, 10 weeks, 10 days is a week, and their seasons are similar. We don't have to do that. I like the idea that there are climates and different weather. Now, we don't have to make it cyclical or seasonal. They could just be no rotation. or perfect, a perfect rotation around the sun without that oval shape, something like that. Currently, to the right is north in my imagination, but right is
Oh,
west.
that's why I can't see it. Okay, I know why I can't see it.
Why?
Because, because I'm looking at the actual map, not the picture posted on the thing. Because I'm trying to find if there's a way that I can rotate it.
Sure. No rush on that. No rush. It's just a thought. We can deal with everything being east to west. We could have climate zones any way we want it. I mean, for example, this could be. I mean, it could just be. This is cold. This is hot. And then everything else in the middle is temperate, right? It's whatever we want it to be. The thing I want to do first is just get the colors kind of matching climates, like yellow's desert, green's forest. I don't know if that's feasible if we have enough colors for it, but I like looking at this and going, that's an icy land.
Let's see. Customize countries. I have every single hexadecimal color available to me.
Okay, awesome. So we can worry about that at another time. So we were talking about gods. We shrink Danny's territory. We make Vorhos a lush green area. Is that what we said on yours? Neutral, good, create something new, foresty area. Okay. Zaray, you have as knowledge and skill. Knowledge
Which
and skill
I put essentially my sort of thinking. That was like the only sort of thing I kind of dabbled in a little bit.
Okay.
Is thinking something potentially more closed off, and I guess gathering information, but not willing as much to share that information with anyone who doesn't sort of follow within his ranks.
Okay, all right, neutral, good. Okay, I'm down. I would say not to a zealous extent.
Correct. Yes.
Because they're still good people, but then you still side with good and not evil, right? People who use knowledge to the harm of others, rather than a knowledge should be free, Wikipedia sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or maybe that's the difference between lawful and neutral good.
Okay. Amanias is freedom.
Freedom.
Okay, that looks like a port city to me. Freedom screams sailing.
Yep, and that's why I sort of gave them the land bridge, and that was the other thing, and I forgot to do. I was also wanted to sort of think of like economically, speaking, and to me the
merchants,
the freedom territory would definitely be the one that is the richest, especially due to its location. With them, they're handling most of the trade, I guess, in the terms of it, from the north and the south. Because they have access to the land bridge, and they, are the ones that they would bring the goods to those ports, and they would send it back and take it back to the Northlands.
Okay. All right. I like it. So we have mercantile. Let me go with. I wrote some notes there. Maybe I'm spelling that wrong. There we go. Mercantile.
Oh, that's fancy.
I like it. Amnias. Amnis. How do we say that?
I literally just went on the name generator and pulled a bunch of names off.
What if we get this wrong and we end up with, GIF versus GIF for the rest of our lives? We have to decide now, Tom. All right,
I actually don't expect these names to stick, because one of the things that, with 9 of them, there's 26 letters. Yeah. We have 9 of the most important characters. I don't think any of them should share the same first letter, just to make it even easier for the players. Right is west for now. I'm trying to figure out how to rotate it.
Yep. I can rotate it in here pretty easily, but that's not what we're trying to do.
Right. So like Amnes and Aros, like, having something, or just having like different names.
There you go.
Hi, my name's Aros. What's your name? Danny.
You're not wrong. I'm okay with Danny being the theme behind this, but John is the only name that I'm good with being, what it is.
Did you just rotate it?
I did.
Okay.
Wait, I don't like it.
Oh, the arrow doesn't rotate. Okay, because the arrow is drawn on it. I was like, why didn't the arrow rotate? But none of the stuff.
Okay, we went it back. Yeah, I'm good with spending time on those names and making them something unique and memorable, something powerful. I'm absolutely down with that. So I'm working through piece by piece here. So Quixote is desires power and influence, and he's in the middle.
Right, because you want one of the things that I always find interesting when it comes to political is there is not a country that you think of as being a powerful country that is landlocked.
Okay.
Right? Every single powerful country in the world has access to an ocean.
But this one doesn't.
Why?
Because
and that's
Germany.
Something he desires. No, Germany has access to oceans. Well, kind of. They're in a little bit interesting situation, just kind of like Russia is, but Russia was like, LOL, JK, this part of Ukraine's ours.
LOL, JK, Goreclaw.
Goreclaw. But that's sort of like they would naturally have a desire to push out.
Okay.
In my opinion, which would cause conflict between, the neutral power, the good power, and the evil power that's around them.
I like it, but let's talk about Aros because I'm thinking maybe Aros is a good one to switch him if I wanted them to, but I don't know Aros yet. So Aros is spirituality, and you want them to have the biggest land because they want followers.
Right.
They're lawful good. Spirituality has the largest country. Okay. Let's hear it.
And so that's why. So they, and where I sort of put them, it kind of just like happened. I kind of just had them grow a little bit. But let's see. Can I pull up? Where is it? Exactly I'm still freaking terrible with. Right. So their area is it's a little bit more than double the size of Ektun, which is the second largest country. And so I definitely like the idea of, not having, 9 equal gods in a way where there with that comes, the ability for, a little bit of pushing and shoving. But with this god being, all about spirituality and, being as, much as they can be directly in people's life, creating food, water, trying to meet the needs of their people, having a lot of people, benefit from it directly. This god comes, into worship and has a large following because of it. Okay. And so this person, whereas, in conquest, if you have, the god of conquest where, if, it's, still big, but, all of those people, they're, I don't know, like there's a shark that like the baby sharks fight in the womb and like only the toughest shark survives. Like they could, potentially have something like that.
Does that happen?
I believe so.
So you tell me that shark fetuses fight each other for dominance?
Well, not in that country, but in real life.
I know, because we can make up whatever fuck we want. But that's an interesting fact of the day.
Oh, okay. That's why that happened. Fetuses. Why shark embryos cannibalize their litter mates in the womb, with the largest embryo eating all but one of its siblings. Now researchers know why. It's part of the struggle for paternity in utero, where babies of different fathers compete to be born.
Man, if only they just got along. They could all be.
I know, right?
All right. I struggle.
Like,
I struggle.
something...
I struggle with my brother in utero too. It's okay.
But you like that person, so having the same size and the same like follower count for those two different societies, one would be naturally bigger, whereas this god can flex his might because he's by far the biggest.
Tech says you can't just drop that and try to move on. The fuck. So the interesting thing here about Quixotes, and I think you built into this. I don't know if you. I'm sure you didn't do this on purpose, and that's why I'm here. Quixotes has this desire for power and influence. To the south, to the Eros side, to the right side, they are growing this massive holy empire, the biggest followers, the probably even the strongest military might, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then to the north,
that or Ectun.
And as I say, and then to the north you have Ectun, which is who desires military might and war and conquest. Now Ectun is bordering 3 countries, but 2 of those countries there's a river in between them. Quixotes is probably constantly dealing with the conquest of Ectun and desires power and influence, but doesn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Quixotes is in a constant struggle here and is a very angry person.
Well, right, and they're if I'm not wrong, is it chaotic evil? Yeah.
Ectun, yes. No, I can see that as like chaotic evil. That's probably.
Well, no. Ectun is neutral evil. They're what we had, and then Quixotes is chaotic evil.
Right. Who's the lawful evil?
Inlo.
Oh, Inlo. What is Inlo's story? Right, tucked away, tiny country, live forever, just wants.
Right. Those are the zealots. So my thinking was in the base of the mountains, potentially most of it underground. There's, he's reserved back far away from most things. Okay. And, yeah.
All right. Okay. I can dig it. I can see that tiny territory really close to Zeray. Constant raids on libraries for knowledge and information that help him live longer, right? He thinks that's there. Mm-hmm. Trying to tuck themselves away against the natural beast and the monsters of Vorus down to the south. Envious of probably
Danny the partier.
Right, Danny the partier, who probably has peace anyway. Because nobody's trying to conquest the small amount of land he's claimed, and I imagine it's a vacation port. This is the Bahamas. People go to them. All right. I'm down. We have a map. I have a visualization of what's going on in this map. It's easy to understand. We can make it a little more visually representative, just with colors.
I could put this thing in sepia too.
What's sepia? You're just putting
that's like the old like timey like tannish photo filter on it. I can though.
You can.
We could put it in grayscale too. Well, I don't know if I can rotate it.
There's 2 things I'd want out of this map. Rotations, whatever. We can leave that. I kind of want colors to represent climate and attitude. Attitude. Right. I like it. And then that's a version of the map I want. And if it was possible, I'd want to do a version of the map. I like this. Okay, so colors are distinct, right? They separate the borders. Mm-hmm. We can see them. And then what about a version that's realistic? The borders don't separate it. We can just see the landmass and the cold north, the deserts. Is there a way to do that? I mean, I don't know how many options you have. Because if you have those options with a few clicks, this program you're using is fantastic.
Okay. Oh, that's customized.
Click this live science link.
Ooh. Okay. So there's a couple of things that I have access to. How do I clear off the countries? There it is. Okay. So I can clear off the countries. I can make the map essentially completely white besides the terrain features on them, the hills, the trees, the mountains, the rivers.
Okay.
Let's see. I can even do things like remove the livers. I can even make this So I'll just give a overview of everything that I have. I have, what is this?
What's what?
Okay, that's interesting. I don't know what that does. Oh, that's just like an ocean background. Okay, so
Hi, Surreal.
yeah. Hey, Surreal. I have the ocean, a height map, which essentially it gives your terrain, height.
Good stuff.
I have routes, rivers, countries, borders, and I can take away the labels, the icons, and markers. So I can peel off all of those stuff, but I can, and all of these are interchangeable. I can have them all off, some on, some off. The one thing that I find interesting that I don't know exactly what to do with yet is there is also a culture overlay.
I could talk culture.
Right. So, with this, it might be, I was I wasn't sure what to do with it because there's, Western Europe, similar cultures, different things. But here, you have your gods where things might not be as mellow or as intertwined as maybe in our day and age. Yeah, we are surreal. We're making a sandwich starting from growing grain. It was essentially, I think, how I put it once.
Growing grain. So yeah, let me get back. We'll get back to that. I just want to answer this question in good detail because Surreal's an important person, and he asked the question. He is. I think he's been trying to get to like watch my Black Desert Online gameplay through Steam, and I'm not sure if that system even works. So anyway, yeah, Surreal. We are doing some world building. This eventually will be a campaign. We'll be looking to grab some people to do an online campaign eventually, run by the two of us in an attempt to do dual DM. But right now, and probably for some time, we're building the world from scratch. And each week we're getting a little deeper into the roots here on what this looks like. And this episode so far, we've been kind of defining the landmass and this influence of the gods. So far, this is a world that was crafted by some gods as a playground, a place to where their parents forced them to grow and mature. We have a couple angles on that, but essentially the gods have a more direct impact here. There's some issues with like the banning of magic, power struggles between these deities and actual control of land. We got some really cool things going so far that I think. Also on YouTube, if you want to, rewatch. Sign you up for sure. You're a D&D player. That would be excellent. We're slowly building a list of people who want to play.
That was a lot longer than I thought it would be.
What did you do?
Tech 4 post
a picture of his plant. Oh God. Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition is the system. There's his plant. Oh, no. There's his plant. Let's untime out Tech 4. We deleted all of Tech 4's messages.
We can't compete with the #1 streamer, man. We gotta get stuff out of here.
Yeah, 5e. No, 5e is our system of preference right now. It's pretty fantastic. They've done a really good job this time around, really getting.
Okay, I think Ted can talk now.
Ted, I did remove the timeout. That was funny. Like a timeout for like a minute, great. Just 10 minutes for like
it didn't give me an option. I thought it would. I was gonna do like 5 seconds, and then it was like 600 seconds. Here you go.
Moderator skills. He's learning. All right, so where we're at now is you said there's a cultural overlay.
Yep.
What does that look like, and why are we cautious about using it?
No, we're not. I just don't know what to use it for. It's essentially a second map that we can throw colors and values to.
I mean, you're the guy who plays all the civilization. You tell me who has the grain and who has the other grain.
Which is one of the reasons why I wanted to use Civ, but we're not going to get that option.
Funny enough, I teach a class on cultural awareness, and here I am struggling to say things other than grain.
Oh man. Message deleted. um, so I mean, we could use it for we could use it for prosperity. We could use it for happiness. We could use it for. But the problem is, we only have one.
One thing?
One overlay where we could do this. I mean, I guess I could change it, but then again, like change it, do different things with it, save it. But you know, but it really is just it's the same thing what you're looking at with the countries, but
Right.
like I can have the countries in that. What does that even look like? It looks weird if they're over top of each other, but I can do it.
Let's see it.
You want to see them over the top of each other?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I want to see what you're talking about. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So here, so we're gonna PNG this or not. Okay. Oh man. So one of the things that I had such a really hard time with it comes up with the standard issue message of please disable pop-ups so it could print or not it could save the image, but it's just standard. It comes up even if you're downloading it. And so I was trying to figure out for so long how I could get this to download because it kept on coming up and I had like all the blockers turned off and everything. It was downloaded just fine. So here, forget exactly how to do it. So we're going to go here. We're going to go, nope. Hey, get the heck back here. Okay. Now there's just so many things that are called
I'm just waiting for you to
fantasy
paste
map.
some photos on for me to look at.
Okay, calm down. I have so many pictures that say, there, it's right in the middle. But we could also have it turned off. And so if we do that.
Wait, what picture? Oh, do I need to sync? Is this not showing up fast enough?
Maybe not. I literally put it right in the middle of the other map.
Okay, got it. All right, now I see it. Let me take this map. Let me expand it and take a look at it. Okay, there's some other colors here.
Right.
These colors represent what?
Different cultures. And so like you could have I guess that
cultures within the culture of this. Okay, I see what's going on there. I don't think it conveys any information for us,
but it can. And so we just have. And so
can I see without the colors, without the map colors interfering in it? Because I see that they're intersecting and stuff, but I can't tell.
So I'm gonna do this.
Montana is right here in this region, right there. That's Montana.
Okay, there it is. Okay.
I wish to have lived in Montana. That is something. I didn't do anything. What do you got?
That's a song. I wish to have lived in Montana. Montana is sweeter than mine.
What are you doing with what now? I don't see.
Okay, I definitely. It's changing sizes.
I see it.
Okay.
I can fix this.
Oh, that's because I put it in the box. That's what's going on.
There we go. So then this is the. You think this might be cultures if they cross the borders?
No. What this map is what the map had without me touching. I did not edit this at all.
Okay. All right. So it means nothing until we place meaning to it.
Correct. And what is that meaning? That's what I don't have an answer for. But it is something that we go, oh, if we had something else that we could show easily, interchangeably between the two, for some whatever reason, we have that option. We have one of those options.
Okay.
Oh, that looks fancy.
What we'd have to do is come up with something that mattered. And
Correct.
Cross boundaries enough to display it on a map. Whether that was yeah, we'll have to think of something later. But okay, because you can't do religion. This isn't a religion map, because that's very thoroughly tied to the borders.
Yes,
we could do something. It's hard. It's I like power and influence and strength of their influence, maybe. But we're getting a little weird there.
Ooh, stream likes it when we get weird.
We had a song coming, right? Tech was gonna produce us a song.
That's the song. I'll make that one for normal background music.
Oh man. All right, so we are. I like this map. We've talked about it a bunch. Where else can we go here? Because I like favorite rankings. Okay, obviously you have favorites.
Yes.
You really like Live Forever. I think that is a deep. It's deep.
That's a good one. And I didn't even come up with it either.
Oh man, imagine that. I have good ideas.
Every once in a while. But yeah, because once we're still possibly a very long way out, and I just don't want to give into inflexibility too quickly. And so that was sort of me figuring out things that I like, things that I don't like, that could maybe use some adjustments that, would be just better once we know more. Like right now, there could be elements that just won't work.
Right.
And then we'll need to adjust them. And so I can sort of remember what I was thinking. Like even like as I was sort of playing with this, and I guess like when it comes to it, I guess 7 of them I like, and 2 of them I'm iffy about.
Which 2 are you iffy about? The bottom 2?
The bottom 2. Create something new and desires power and influence.
Okay.
Not the ideas themselves, but just how I was sort of when I was sort of thinking about playing around with them.
Okay.
Exactly how it was. Like
so let's talk about create something new. Let's just fucking talk about him. You don't like him, so let's try to make you like him.
I don't remember why I don't like them.
Oh, well, then you don't have a conversation. This whole thing is a note-taking software. You took no notes on why you don't like them.
Because this is just like me in high school. I just memorized it all.
Oh man. I like create something new for sure, because for me that's nature. That's evolution.
I think the reason that I didn't like it was the resemblance of another greater god, whereas we don't have that anywhere else. To create something new.
Which one is that somewhere else?
That the resembles his or her father.
Okay, we could take those words out. I think create something new. I think mono green in Magic the Gathering.
I mean, yeah, that's totally fine. That to me, it's not an interesting idea. Like, well, I guess really when you come down to it, it's the what's it called? The Live Forever isn't necessarily like their idea of being zealots and going around and killing stuff. Isn't necessarily a new idea, but I think that's better more creative than like, and it works more with what we have. Which which one is? What were we talking about? The create something new.
Right.
When we get closer to done, maybe it works even better than that one, and we just don't know. But it's just for right now. It's what's sort of going on.
We had Cyril say a religious theocracy, as I look up the word.
Like a dictatorship.
He's saying a atheist state.
Oh, a religious. Oh, okay.
A state where nobody believes in the gods. And
they would all. They're dead.
I think that's, and I like atheism as a concept, but if like the God of Moses and Jesus Christ came to me right now and said, "I'll hand you the power of thunder if you follow me," I would be his most devoted servant. And I think that's the world that people are living in. Is they probably see these gods on a daily basis, and if people could get behind the Egyptians as gods, these guys are the real deal. This is men flying around the world, shows of power and supremacy.
Shooting lasers.
I mean, the god Danny is providing his people with like the ultimate vacation place, right? So he's doling out wine from water.
Charm spell with that, right? Like it's almost like a siren. You get drawn in and sucked there, and you just spend the rest of your life there. But is it really that bad, kind of thing?
Let's see. Tech 4, he says a small group may still not believe. So what happens? What do we think happens if we do have people that don't believe? Where do they go? What is their life like? I mean, they seem to be. They'd have to be like, would they be criminals? Are these the guys pairing with the mages? Because part of this is many of these gods have came together to outlaw arcane magic because it's the thing that threatens their power, their existence. So maybe the arcane fall into this.
I mean, we could maybe have the culture map be like different orders, like that. Maybe like just like that, where you have sort of like an arcane magic like town, but of course all of that stuff has been pushed far underground. But we can sort of like map out those areas on where they're sort of strongest.
I think they're right here in these two places. Inlo would be somebody to focus on arcane magic in order to maintain his live forever thesis, right? He's just looking for that magic. He's that lich.
Right, but he was killing them. Like, he's the main killer.
He's the main killer because he's afraid of it, but he also wants to possess it. But the knowledge, this barrier here, the mountains, would protect that knowledge. This might be the one place where arcane magic is openly practiced and defended against. The mountains being a natural border. So maybe that's why Inlo's tucked himself in here. So I wouldn't call it maybe an atheistic state, but definitely one that defies the order of the gods in the rest of the worlds. It would have to. And with a good water border between it, and a mountainous water border, it could be something we could look at. Are we in the right direction here?
Yeah. I mean, and even like it could even be in Amnes Amnes, where in some of the ports where there's so many people going in and out, faces are
blurred together and
right, and so you can slip in more there and
I would say
have more presence.
The big anti-magic place is probably here on this right side, right? We have spirituality, we have conquest, we have power. Those would have the most to fear from magic. The middle is this big neutral territory. They're the merchants. They probably get along with everybody. They supply the countries with goods and services.
They get along with everybody who has money.
Everybody who has money. This is the green state right here. Now, nature on this side, arcane's probably part of nature, right? The Voorhees here are probably not making it illegal. But I think this is probably the most dangerous country in my mind. This is probably a country of the most dangerous beasts in the world. Things
and they're chaotic.
Good. Chaotic good. These are probably this is where you're going to find the dinosaurs. This is where you're going to find things that only live here. Jungles. Right? The mountains then become the place of knowledge, freedom to learn, magic. And then anything goes on Danny's Island. Like I think we have that theme. I think that's pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, of course, once again, always got to stay open to as things develop. But yeah, I mean, there's. So are we now more leaning towards half of the world has complete so half the world has or I guess maybe a little bit more than half, but half the world has outlawed arcane magic outright, where the other half has not? Or is it just it's outlawed everywhere, but it's like speeding, right? As long as you only go 5 miles an hour over, you're fine.
Interesting. I think as long as you don't endanger the principles of their land, you're fine, right? But if you're like burning down the rainforests, you probably got a T-Rex on your butt. It's interesting we're doing this because this map, it feels like we've got some things wrong looking at this map and looking at this split, because this feels like lawful is on the right here. But it's not. It's let me go ahead and map this out really quick.
Yeah, you have it's.
I'm just gonna start marking them like this.
Yeah, it's because you have two evils, a good and a neutral, and then two goods, a neutral, and an evil.
So lawful feels like the kind of place to ban magic. What we have over here, this is chaotic, evil, and Ekatoon was neutral evil. Okay, so I can see lawful good is definitely this like overzealous. You know, they could do the laws and then go too far with it. Neutral evil, maybe. Where's the other evil? Where's lawful evil?
Lawful evil's in low.
Oh, right. It's over here. I think we have to switch those. I think we have to switch. I think Ekatoon becomes lawful evil, and Inlow becomes neutral evil.
Inlow becomes neutral evil.
What's that?
Lawful evil, neutral evil.
Neutral just wants to live. Law's irrelevant. Ekatoon is trying to conquer and conquest. And it's probably this it's this reflection of lawful good and lawful neutral, where it's about the rules. They're being enforced heavily, like Nazi Germany, lawful evil, right? Lawful good, wherever you think of like the Crusades. That's what I'm thinking here. I'm gonna make that switch unless you have an argument otherwise.
I'm just trying to think. I don't like. To me, I think we're just changing labels. We're not really changing any what anything is.
Some of the labels fit pretty good. Some of them we shoehorned, and I'm just thinking we shoehorned these backwards.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Northeast should be to the right more.
So we said.
And how dare you say dinosaurs are evil? All dinosaurs are good. How dare you? Have you seen Jurassic World?
Well, he said they're evil. He said neutral.
Yeah, they're neutral.
They're neutral. He said they were neutral.
No, they seem. But we're saying they're chaotic good.
Yeah. I can make an argument. I can talk that in a second. My thought process. But I just want to make sure I change these lawful and neutral. Lawful neutral evil real quick. So chaotic good. So this one I envisioned as life creation.
No.
Chaotic is the birds are Wagon. Good to see you, buddy. We had the birds on our dinosaurs argument for so long. Were you there for that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I was instigating.
No, I know you were. What if? Okay. I like what they're saying. Nature is neutral. Nature is neutral. Creation could be just neutral. And then the other chaotic neutral on the board is Danny. Chaotic neutral chaotic neutral could easily be flexing the chaotic good in this pleasure domain. You could make that swap. That's an understandable swap.
Good intentions gone wrong. Right? He just wants everybody to have fun, but gets everybody drunk instead.
His intentions are good. Sure. And, drunk's not evil. It's just chaotic.
No. Yeah.
Happiness. He's there for... Okay, I'm good. That's huge. I think we're flipping some good switches. They might seem like irrelevant switches, but...
But it looks prettier.
Chaotic, neutral... and then chaotic good, which means our good. Oh, this lines up kind of well, actually. So our neutral section is like. Wait a minute, did we do this right? Oh, we have a neutral good. We have a neutral evil. We have a chaotic neutral. We have a
No, that's
We're missing lawful neutral somewhere, and I've doubled up somewhere else. Oh wait, no,
yeah, because
John.
yeah, no, the John's are
John's our guy.
because there's only 8.
So I got you. So I got it. Yeah, this feels symmetrical. I like it. My favorite alignment is chaotic drunk. Cheers to that, as today's episode is brought to you by Fireball. Feel the cinnamon.
And don't forget our other sponsor, OneNote. Thanks, Microsoft.
Thanks, Microsoft. Teaming up with Fireball. Who would have saw that combination? But the sponsors were there. Fireball. I feel like we do episodes where we get really serious and we pretend like there's really sponsors. And we do that enough where sponsors are like, people are paying these guys to do this. Maybe we should pay them.
Exactly.
All right. Merchants can be lawful neutral. Oh man, that's a good point for John. Actually.
In what way?
That money is law. That
I mean,
they abide by the rule of money.
Yeah, but
why is self-awareness and understanding lawful?
Why is...
Oh, wait. Freedom. The key value here is freedom, not mercantile.
Right.
And, okay. And it's weird because John competes
merchants are the side effect, not the main effect.
Well, the main effect of John is living among men and following the rules of men.
Yep.
So if you don't know John is the god of self-awareness and understanding. He goes by the name of John because he felt that since the parents of these gods sent them to this place, he drove their purpose to become self-aware, understanding, maturity, and so he decided to live among men. And so he's somewhere on this map, just living among the men. He's a farmer. He's he's working. He's a working man every day. Probably milking cows,
or dinosaurs,
or dinosaur cows. That's him. That's John. He's not on this map because he owns no territory. And he's probably lawful. I'm okay with him being lawful, and only because we want to have one of each alignment, and freedom is the key value for Amnius.
Right. I mean, you can make an argument for many of these aren't specific ideas. You could definitely take these and put these into different alignments and do slightly different things with them. We could do that all day.
Right.
But I mean, we made a couple of switches. I'm okay with them. Right now I think we're vague enough where I'm not really impacted by them. So I guess we could sort of see where that comes. And is it that libertarian idea of freedom where it's really oppression by the wealthy? We have no idea. So if you give us a thesis paper on that, we'll get back to you to see if it fits in there. But I want minimum 5 pages. I will give you double space though. Northeast went even more west. I don't even know what you're on about, Tech.
Let's see.
Y'all suck at this. So funny. Are you talking about him physically moving the map on the screen?
He might be. I'm changing some of the text around now, but that can't be what he's talking about.
I mean, it did go more west because you did move it more to the left.
Boop. Y'all suck at this. Northeast is even more west. So northeast on our map is north and east. This is northeast over here. And he's saying it's more west.
I thought you said west.
I'm looking at the... Oh, okay. He's saying northeast, which is this section right here that I'm highlighting in green, is on the west side of the map. It's actually on the south side of the map. Because this is the north-seeking area.
God dang it! I don't know why it took me too long.
And it is definitely northeast of this line. Look at that. It is northeast of this line right there. So suck it, Tech. Oh man. We also have a zone labeled chaotic east.
Chaotic East. Wouldn't that just be Central East?
It would just be Central East. So, in summary,
Central
in
East.
summary, we got a map, and you did a lot of this behind the scenes. And what was the name of this tool, and where can we find it?
So this was Azgaar's fantasy map generator, and you go to this, you copy this, you post it into chat, you go like that, and
Good.
boom.
Post. Yeah, there you go. Post it on the
Here. Boop, 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 ba-doop, boop. Okay, so we're gonna do this.
right under my word under my labeler right here. My label.
I've ruined everything.
What have you done?
Under,
I have a label: Asgard Fantasy Map Generator.
there you go. And then you do this, and you go, nah.
Where's it at?
Nah.
Where's it at? Where'd you?
I put it right under the north.
Is this sync faster?
I even highlighted
right
it.
under the north. Oh, I was like, there we go. I moved north accidentally. Why did you put it? Why did you physically paste it under north? What did you accomplish? All right, I got you.
A great posting. See, and now it's all deleted. And,
I have to. All right, there we go.
I can't work under these conditions.
You can and you will.
I want you to double my pay.
Okay, I will triple it.
I'm quite the deal maker.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we brought you a rough draft map. We talked about the fantasy map generator. We kind of nailed down an understanding between the two of us on why these gods are where they're at. We gave them some good reasons, some good motivations behind it. So what do we have to talk about next time?
So one of the things that we didn't really get to this episode, and I kind of like that because then it makes this part of the show really easy, is story creation. So do we do the huge backdrop story?
What are you thinking? Like the creation story?
Of how the world was created, or
how the gods? Well, so in our idea right now is the gods created this world. Probably the greater gods created this world to send the gods down to live on this planet, right? To live for some reason. I think that's what we have to map out. I think we have to give it a creation story.
Okay, so that kind of story. Okay.
Like on the first day, the gods made women because they came first.
I've been in a relationship for 7 years, and I can say that's never happened.
I was waiting for it. I set it up, and he knocked it down. And all right, so creation story. Why are things here? So we need more. We need maybe one more thing. I'd love to do names of the deities. Name of the gods. I'm not gonna write deities. Sarah posted a link. Who the fuck is mydndcharacter.com? And I'm gonna open that link real quick. And it says, I'm going to roll the stats for a fucking plain-speaking elf ranger from a village without a tavern who was written out of their family will. Using it.
This is great. So you know how we were going to create a whole bunch of characters?
There they are.
Have a whole bunch.
Done. This is just a boring elf ranger. So this is a boring elf ranger from a village where he's without a tavern. So like a small fucking town, not even big enough to have a bar. And whatever he did, he was such a disgrace. They wrote him out of the will. This guy is boring and bad at being a ranger, which elves love being. He's like, I'm going to speak with bears. And he walks up to the bear and he's like, rawr, I'm a bear. And the bear smacks the shit out of him for being bad at speaking with bears. And then his family disowns him. I like it. Serial got dependable halfling druid from the Parliament of Beggars who keeps getting mistaken for a famous knight. There's a lot going on there. I can't even, that's like three archetypes mixed into one. Like he's a druid from the woods, but he's involved in government with beggars. And for some reason, he's dressed in such a way that he looks like a famous halfling. Like this is like the Pauper and the Prince, but with druids. I got it. We can re-roll this all day. We can also be an absent-minded dwarf warlock from a cliffside village who is searching for the knowledge of true immortality. That's actually not bad. All right. So next time we want to dive into creation story. So what's our homework? And not just your homework, our homework. You did good. You carried this episode. I appreciate it.
It's why I'm here.
We need some homework.
We're an outline of the.
An outline of the what? Like, give us we come up with an outline of creation.
I guess, yeah. I guess why we're here. The only thing that you might get mad at me for getting too specific again, but this is where I think the show might run into a little bit of interesting territory. Where if we, because it's.
Oh, I'm listening. I'm enthralled.
With it. With a D&D campaign,
yeah.
If let's say for the Curse of Strahd, if I knew everything at the beginning of the story's way less interesting to me.
Sure.
It's like, okay, I need to go to this town. I need to get this gem. Here's where they are. It becomes like a chore list instead of an adventure. Right. Whereas if we give a whole story, it'd be like, okay, so this is how they're created. This is when the players are dropped in. It's roughly around this time where these things are happening, and then this is sort of the catalyst that then causes certain events to make the world interesting at that point. Because, like I said, last week episodes, it's you have more games. Video games are based on, the 40s in American history, because those years are way more interesting than the 1890s. Right. And so if we drop, the characters into that story, how do we write those stories while still, if our viewers are potentially, some of the viewers are the players.
Two ways. One, we don't ever get into that much detail. We're writing the world. We're building the world. A lot of this should come down to common understanding. Like, the things we've talked about so far might have just been God damn it. Might have just been something taught in school. Like, they grew up knowing that the gods are a power. They grew up knowing that the gods sent the gods down here. This is a well-known
I like that
thing.
We'll write a school lesson.
Right. This is what this is. Now, what we probably shouldn't do is prepare the actual sessions.
No.
Here. At least until we decide on who the players are, and we can specifically tell those players to watching.
Fuck off.
Right. Hey, if you're in this campaign, fuck off. Everybody else, we're going to plan their adventure next Friday. And that's how we do it.
Yeah.
Because I think eventually this comes down to like preparing a campaign week to week. We go, all right, so this Friday, here's what we have in mind, and we're gonna build the building blocks, and then people get to watch us build it, and then see
and watch it fall apart,
And I think that's an interesting formula, as long as our players fuck off. And if we're ever super famous, they'll have to ignore Twitter, because people are assholes.
Right, but I don't think we'll ever get that big, so it's not really a worry.
We're not. This is a hobby. We're having fun. We're learning things along the way. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Please tune in next time for Delving in Deep.
If we're still doing all these shows like 6 years from now, that is going to be the one joke that will be there for all of those years.
That we can't say our name without making it a question.
I'm ShazamPoof.
I'm Uncommon. We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be in my Discord right after this to hang out and talk about these notes and give an insight to how we created this episode. Until next week, same time, same channel, 6 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you in next week.